Over the last year or so, Twitter has had one of the most bizarre transformations in all of social media history. Not only has Twitter been given a different name that nobody calls it, but the events surrounding Twitter and the changes made to it were so unbelievably absurd that even with context, they sound fake. What does 1984 have to do with Lord Elon Musk? By the end of this video, you'll have the answer to that question, as well as answers to countless other questions you don't even have yet. First, we gotta ask ourselves the big question. What even happened to Twitter? Well, to find the answer to that question, we gotta go all the way back to where this whole thing first started. As with most problems in today's society, Twitter's issues really only came about when a rich white dude came in and bought something he didn't really know anything about. Elon Musk officially bought Twitter in late October of 2022. And the very first thing he did was fire everybody. He fired the CEO.
Go fuck yourself.
The CFO.
Go fuck yourself.
And the head of legal, trust, and safety.
Go fuck yourself.
At Twitter. Basically, that's everyone that could say no to his ideas. Why would you fire everybody in the company who could say no to you? Elon then proceeded to lay off half of Twitter's employees, which is over 4,000 people. Listen, if this was an iceberg video, this is just the start. Next up on Elon's chopping block for Twitter was the verification system. Elon decided to turn the tried and true method of Twitter verification into a World of Warcraft subscription. Before Elon Musk took over Twitter, Twitter checkmarks are really only reserved for notable people. People like celebrities, companies, reputable journalists, not so reputable politicians, really anyone that had media proof that they were notable. The system was complex, but at the end of the day, 99% of the time, it worked. But nowadays, in the Elon era of Twitter, instead of having to be a notable person with media proof, you could just buy a checkmark and pay your way into being notable. Kind of like the Kardashians. It didn't matter if you were a fake account or a bot or anything. If you spent $8, you could just be verified. It was genuinely that easy. That is, unless you were impersonating Lord Elon himself. And in that case, you were instantly banned off of Twitter. But impersonating anybody else on Twitter, that was absolutely fine. A good example of this impersonation starts with the company called Eli Lilly. If you're like most people who don't know about this corporation, they basically just make things like insulin absolutely impossible to afford unless you make like 24 doubloons an hour or something. Someone ended up making a brand new Twitter account, made it look exactly like Eli Lilly's Twitter account, bought Twitter verification so they were verified, they had the check mark, and then they tweeted, and I quote, "We are excited to announce insulin is free now." And just as expected, the tweet gained worldwide attention. Within hours, it was all over Twitter. It was all over the news, and a ton of people thought that it was real. That was, however, until the real Eli Lilly came in and made a public announcement about them being impersonated. And instead of saying anything about insulin prices, they just advertised their Twitter account. Garbage corporations aside, the new verification system was not good, and people absolutely hated it. Surprisingly enough, the system actually got even more insane and even more convoluted. Elon started adding a bunch of different types of check marks. A blue one, a gray one, a gold one, whatever the fuck that one is. Basically, it started to feel like Elon was making changes just for the sake of changing things. Okay, so recap of everything that's happened so far. Elon's initial takeover of Twitter, it's not going so great. All right, well, okay, that's fine. But things aren't all bad. Elon's next groundbreaking update to Twitter was essentially him just getting rid of moderation entirely. Now, funnily enough, lack of moderation on a social media platform is actually illegal. It was during this time that absolutely anyone could get onto Twitter and say anything that they wanted to. So, for example, let's say a random group wanted to make a Twitter account. The group we're gonna go with for this example is the Taliban. You know who those guys are. Because of the changes Elon had put into place, if the Taliban wanted to make a Twitter account and start posting tweets saying whatever they wanted, well, they could. Not only could they do it, but they actually did. I want to make this clear. I'm not joking. This isn't a joke. This isn't a joke I wrote in the script. This is real. The Taliban, the real actual Taliban, have Twitter accounts. Not just one. They have multiple real active Twitter accounts that are still active to this day. Genuinely, I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. One of the funniest parts about this whole ordeal is that Elon kept defending horrible people saying horrible things. Saying things like, I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means. Yet, weirdly enough, anytime someone would criticize Musk, their Twitter account would mysteriously vanish overnight. Also, I feel like I should add on to this, was the Twitter account called Elon Jet. Basically, all it did was, it did some... Hey, it's me, the editor. Listen, everything I had recorded about ElonJet actually turned out to be wrong and just pure misinformation. So I'm here to correct that for you. All you need to know about ElonJet is that it was a Twitter account that tracked Elon Musk's private jet in real time using completely legal methods. The account basically proved that he was pulling a Taylor Swift and flying 20 minutes just to get a coffee. The account was initially banned by Elon Musk, but then brought back and unbanned when Musk realized that he just broke his own free speech rules. And then, a few months later, in December of 2022, the account was just banned again without any warning, along with the accounts of a bunch of other journalists in an event that people call the Thursday Night Massacre. Yes, that's real. You can look that up. All that stuff aside, ElonJet is still banned to this day. The owner of the account, Jack Sweeney, actually still tracks Elon's jet, but on a different Twitter account that has a 24-hour delay. Alright, that's all the correcting for now. Back to the video. I guess all the bad press finally started to get to Elon because on December 19th of 2022, he posted a Twitter poll asking people if he should step down as the head of Twitter. And shockingly enough, the results of the poll were actually almost tied, but they still came out to a resounding yes. And to everyone's surprise, he actually did step down as the head of Twitter. Well, I say that at least publicly he stepped down because there's still a lot of changes we have to discuss. It was during spring that Elon made probably the most prominent change to Twitter, and that was splitting the Twitter timeline into two separate timelines entirely, kind of like a multiverse of Twitter. The two new timelines were a brand new following tab, which was actually really well received and genuinely a really good addition. The other timeline, however, was an absolutely groundbreaking and innovative change to Twitter called the For You page. For the love of God! The For You page on Twitter works basically the same as any other For You page on any other social media. For example, here's a post from SneegSnag. I follow him and I like his tweets. Therefore, Twitter is going to show me more of his tweets when he posts them. Then, right underneath it is a post from Discussing Film. I, however, don't follow them, but their tweets still show up in my feed because I like their tweets and interact with them. Your For You page won't look the same as mine because we like and don't like different things. The same rule applies to pretty much every other social media out there. Instagram, TikTok, and especially YouTube. The more of a certain thing you like or look at, the more of that certain thing you're gonna see. Now, yeah, at first glance, this actually seems a lot better. And I agree, it was much better. But, like all things on the internet, nothing good lasts forever. A few days after the timeline split, Musk actually made his good change a whole lot worse by stating that only verified tweets would show up on both timelines. And then he defended this change by stating that it was the only way to combat AI bot swarms taking over. Huh? What is this guy on? It's been months, and I'm still confused why he didn't just start moderating Twitter again to solve the AI bot swarm problem he was talking about. And besides, since anyone can buy Twitter verification, that doesn't stop spam or negative posts at all. So you could still see posts from bots and the Taliban. However, a few days later, Elon just backpedaled on literally every single change he mentioned about the timelines, with the excuse that he forgot to mention that the posts of non-paying Twitter users would also show up on the timelines. So Elon basically made a bunch of fuss, only to end up not changing literally anything. What's even funnier is that if you do the research, you find out pretty quickly that he didn't just forget to mention it. The only reason he backpedaled on his change to the timelines was because of the mass amount of public outrage from Twitter. Twitter basically would have become pay to play. If Elon hadn't backpedaled on that change to the timelines, almost no one would be using Twitter today, give or take for a few unsavory types. From here on out, Twitter really starts to fall apart. Let me clarify what I meant by falling apart. I don't mean Twitter just like shutting down or anything. I just said that for a dramatic effect. What I actually mean by falling apart is that we're getting really close to one of the most infamous events in the whole Musk takeover of Twitter. Musk's plan for Twitter is essentially to make it some kind of super app, kind of what Instagram wanted to be. Something with posts, FaceTimes, off-brand TikTok. Oh shit, the script's still open. Something with posts, FaceTimes, off-brand TikToks, misleading news, a way to pay your taxes, DoorDash clone, a way to call your friends and leak your IP address at the same time. Really, in all honesty, he wanted a little bit of everything. Now that we know what his plans were from the start, all of his changes finally make sense. What? No, they don't. All the changes from before still make no sense. The thing that makes the absolute least sense to me is the big thing, what the video's been leading up to this entire time. In late April of 2023, Twitter was merged into one of Elon Musk's companies called X Corp. Listen, I know a lot of people have probably already made this joke, but really? X Corp? That's the best you could do? Then, a few months later, in July of 2023, Elon just rebranded Twitter into X, literally out of nowhere. The rebrand doesn't really make any sense. I mean, Twitter's been a household name for nearly 2 decades. The Twitter bird is known around the globe. Hell, even aliens probably know what Twitter is. I mean, you post tweets on Twitter. What do you post on X? You can't make an X. That's, it's an instant age restriction on the video is what that is. So now, Twitter has officially been canned. A long-running brand worth billions of dollars has been wiped from existence. But now it's called X. So, yay? Now, how did Elon Musk decide to celebrate this monumental shift in social media? Well, obviously, he decided to take down the Twitter HQ sign in San Francisco. But there's one small issue, and that's Elon decided to take the sign down without a permit.
Hey, it's me, the editor, again. Listen, I did some research and found out that Elon Musk actually did get a work permit to take down the original Twitter sign. He just didn't tell the city about it for whatever reason. That was the only thing wrong with what I said. Everything else after this is good to go, no correction needed. Back to the video.
Without any warning or stopping of traffic, Elon just hired some workers to come over and just start taking the sign down. I'm honestly surprised a letter didn't like fall off and just hit somebody walking by. Since Elon eventually got rid of the Twitter sign, he had to replace it with some sort of sign, just so that way people knew what building X Corp was located at. So, out of all the options of signs he could have picked, Elon decided to find the brightest sign known to man and put it on top of the building. I genuinely... This is insane. That is insane. The best part of that is that a lot of the buildings surrounding Twitter HQ are apartment buildings where people live. Imagine coming home to this. What's crazy about the whole sign thing is that not only was it blindingly bright, but once again, Elon didn't get a permit to put it up there, which you also legally need to have. They also kept denying inspectors to enter the building and look at the sign, so they knew that shit was illegal.
Hey, Mr. Musk. Fuck, you scared the shit out of me. What did you want?
We just saw that sign you guys put up, and we just need to take a closer look at it, is all.
You want to do what?
Sir, I just said that we want to inspect your sign.
What? No.
Well, why not?
Because I don't want you to.
Why? Because the sign's illegal?
Huh? No, the sign, it's not illegal.
Listen, sir, just let us look at the sign.
It's my sign. I don't want you looking at it.
It sounds like it might be an illegal sign based on what you're saying.
No, it's not illegal, I swear.
Well,
Please
Mr. Musk, we just need to check just to make sure it's not illegal.
No, I'm not letting you up there. It's not an illegal sign.
You sure?
Yeah, you got me. Hey, guilty as charged, yeah. It's an illegal sign.
Yeah, we know. Take it down immediately,
Right
please.
away. Right away.
All right, thank you, Mr. Musk. We'll see you again. What's sexy?
Yo, mama.
What?
Sorry. Corporate just wanted new names for the conference rooms.
Aren't you corporate? On top of all of that permit and legal stuff was the arrival of a new challenger to Twitter. Mark Facebook Zuckerberg came out with a whole brand new social media whose whole marketing thing was that it was just gonna dethrone Twitter. I already did a whole video going into detail about Zuckerberg and Threads, so I'm not gonna cover it too deeply here, but I would recommend you go watch that video after this one, just for some context and entertainment. So what was Threads exactly? Well, in all honesty, it was just an Instagram ripoff of Twitter. It had the original timeline featuring posts, images, texts, GIFs, etc., etc. I mean, look at this. Do you see a difference? Because I don't. Anyway, all that aside, Musk was pissed. And so he decided to be a small little guy about the whole thing and tried to sue Threads for copying Twitter, which nothing came out of to this day. I still genuinely have no idea what happened with that. When suing Threads ended up failing, Musk actually, and I'm not making this up, Elon Musk challenged Mark Zuckerberg to a cage fight in the Roman Colosseum, to which Italy said that they could do it. That's insane. Sadly enough, though, both the billionaires keep making excuses as to not fight each other, so I really highly doubt we're ever going to see the cage fight. Which, honestly, that really sucks. I would love to see two socially awkward billionaires beat the absolute shit out of each other. By the way, Zuckerberg is just doing side quests now. Literally, he's just making katanas and shit. Like, that's what rich people should be doing. Musk is still making changes to Twitter, and he's been doing them fast. Like, faster than I can finish this script. While I've been writing, he tried to get rid of the block button on Twitter. You know, one of the most important buttons in all of social media, the one that's legally required. I'm starting to see a trend here. Now, as of a few months ago, Elon is considering making everyone pay to use Twitter. Again. We already went through this like 10 pages ago. Why is he still trying to do it? Then, right after he publicly said he was gonna do that, he backpedaled on it and didn't do it. The way Elon runs Twitter is really just he'll say he'll do something. People will tell him that's a horrible idea. And then he'll say, oh, you're right, I won't do it. Then he does it anyways. People get mad at him for doing the idea, and then he undoes it because people got mad at him and told him it was a bad idea. Elon's seemingly made no positive progress on Twitter whatsoever. But in all honesty, the truth is Twitter, or well, X, if you want to call it that, I'm still calling it Twitter, is actually, for better or for worse, more popular than ever before. Most of that is due to the controversy and hatred surrounding Elon Musk's changes. The other part of Twitter's newfound popularity is actually due to some of Elon's changes, well, a few of Elon's changes actually being somewhat positive. I decided to wait till the end to highlight some of the positive changes that Elon made for, you know, dramatic effect and view duration, obviously. The two most notable and really only positive changes that Elon made to Twitter were the introduction of ad revenue payouts and community notes. Much how YouTube pays people who make successful YouTube videos, Twitter now pays people who make successful tweets. I mean, sure, it's not much, but it definitely is better than nothing. One of the few downsides to the Twitter payout system is that you have to be verified to be eligible for it. So you automatically lose $8 in profit, as well as the trust of your accountant for paying for X premium. Despite the downside being that it led to rage bait posts for interactions, the Twitter payout system was actually a decent idea. I mean, hell, I'll take a free $60 for stealing somebody else's tweet. That's easy money. Now, about that other thing I mentioned, community notes. I love community notes, straight up. That has probably been the best feature added to Twitter ever. I don't love it because it's useful. Yeah, it is super useful, don't get me wrong, but it's really funny to see people get corrected and made fun of under their own tweet, especially when that person is Elon Musk. So, despite everyone saying Twitter is dead, X is gonna fail, Twitter this, X that, Elon sucks, blah, 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 I don't see Twitter going anywhere. Even though the site is plagued by bots, slurs, hate speech, misinformation, rage bait posts to get money, a useless AI chatbot, you get the idea. All in all though, I think taking everything into consideration, I think this tweet right here summarizes everything better than I ever have. 16 months of Elon's Twitter takeover. Hate speech is up, misinformation is more widespread, bot accounts have risen to an all-time high, annoying gimmick accounts have taken over, toxicity has risen, rage bait replies have risen, engagement forming is at an all-time high, the homophobia is up, misogyny is up, transphobia is up, anti-Semitism is up, dumb blue checkmark replies are cluttered everywhere, tons of useless features that nobody wants have been added, crypto NFT ads are everywhere, major companies have left the platform, doxing has risen, really hateful accounts have been unbanned and promoted across the platform, DMs are broken and bugged out, stolen content and basic copy-paste posts are at an all-time high, TweetDeck is no longer free, the company's value is at an all-time low, everyone can be verified, now making the checkmark useless, creator payout is abysmal, non-verified replies are shoved to the bottom of posts, making it harder to stand out, the UI continues to be cluttered, and more. What a shit show.